BBG cars.
It's okay that you're feeling blue, 'cause I'm here to stay.
Toyota Corolla is a line of subcompact and compact cars manufactured by Toyota, introduced in 1966. The Corolla was a best-selling car worldwide by 1974 and has been one of the best-selling cars in the world since then. In 1997, the Corolla became the best-selling nameplate in the world, surpassing even the Volkswagen Beetle. Toyota reached this milestone of 44 million Corollas sold over 12 generations by 2016. The series has undergone several major redesigns. In June 1991, the Corollas received a redesign to be larger, heavier, and have completely rounded aerodynamic shape of the 1990s. In the United States, the somewhat larger Corolla was now in the compact class, rather than the subcompact class, and the coupe was still available in some markets, known as the AE101 Corolla 11. Carburetors were mostly retired with this generation.
Good morning, BBG crew. All right, today I'm at the other shop. This is my car for today. Okay, it's a 2000. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. 1995 Toyota Corolla. All right, I don't know what engine it's got in it yet, but gonna do suspension work and then take apart the whole suspension. Okay, so without further ado, let me show you what's under the hood. Today we're gonna fix the CV joint boots and the outer tie rod ends. Excuse me a moment, I have to pry this thing. Okay. Can't see a light too well. Let me get you a better shot with the light on. Okay. So we have to take the CV joint boots apart. I don't know if you can see it right here. Let's get a closer look at that. You can see it's got a crack. That's got to be replaced. And over here, on this side, same thing. You can barely see it, but it's under my hand right here, this area. Okay, we're going to take all that apart today, and we're going to get busy.
When you start a project, it's always good to use proper PPE. I like using surgical gloves because this is going to be a messy job and I don't want that grease to get under my fingernails and all over my skin. After struggling with many wrenches, I finally got the right one. You need to put all the parts that you take off of these wheels on the side so you don't forget them, or they don't get misplaced or knocked over somewhere, and so you can put them back together where they belong and you don't have any issues. Before removing the lower control arm and the tie rod ends, you're going to see some cotter pins in between the teeth of the castle nut. Be sure to remove these before you take the nuts off. You'll be using a pickle fork, or what you call a fork, to get these parts off. It's the easiest method to remove that I've found. I don't like using the clamp type puller because it's very loud and dangerous, and it makes a big bang and it could come off and strike you in the face. Once the parts are removed with a pickle fork, you're going to then proceed to remove the brake system and the caliper so you can get that out of the way. what we're going to do with this suspension is we're going to remove all the parts associated with the tie rod end so we can get the inners out and also the outers out. On this removal, I'm going to check the bearings to make sure the bearings are good and to make sure they have proper grease in them and make sure they're not bad. And this is why I'm checking the center area where the bearing is in the carrier. I don't recommend using a vice grip to hold the wheel while you're turning. It's best recommended to use a large pole with holes in there for the nuts go into so you can keep the wheel from rotating, which I did not have with me at this time. But the vice grip is also the final option. But since the nuts are very seized on, I have to use heat to remove them. So this is why I use the vice grips. Finally, after nut removal, everything seems to look good, and actually the nuts did not get removed. Now, you might not have seen this in the previous video, but the nut has been removed and the bearings have been checked, and the bearings look like they're in pretty good shape. Now, I'm going to proceed to remove the outer tie rod end and also the inner tie rod ends. They'll be removed using a special tool on the inner side. It's a tool that has many attachments. You can put the attachments in there so you have many sizes of inner tie rod end that you will encounter, and the tool accommodates those different sizes. And for the outer tie rod ends, it's relatively easy to remove with an adjustable wrench. And for me, I just use the breaker bar to get it off from the outside. And as far as the removal of the inner tie rod end is concerned, the tool is a special tool that you can get from Matco or Mac, and mine happens to be a Mac Tools type. You could probably get one from one of those places like Harbor Freight, but I chose to get the professional grade kind, and I've had it for years, and it's been worked out perfectly fine for me. So in the following video, this is going to be the part 1 of the part 2 series. I'm going to show you how to put all these parts back together and put them together properly, and hope you're there to see us on that final video. So be sure to check all of the bushings and all of the boots whenever you do this, because you might need to reuse them. In this case, I was going to reuse the boots because they didn't seem to have cracks in them, so everything seemed to be fine. And all you have to do is make sure it's not excessively dirty, no cracks, no dirty, sandy, greasy spots. You have to remove all that before you put the boots in, because you will use grease, and you grease when you do your installation. So in the next video, you're going to see me install all the suspension components and have them properly torqued, and that'll be very quick. I will do that part 2 very quickly so you're not left hanging, and so this car is completely done and the project is done. It's going to give the car a new car feel, whether you're going around corners, riding. The steering compliance will be perfect, just like a new car. So there's really no reason for people to buy a new car. I just don't understand why people do it when a used car will do. So hope you'll join us in the next issue, and thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for clicking the notification bell. We appreciate it, and see you in the next one.
Good morning, BBG crew. You see that? Okay, it's a 2000. I'm sorry.